Okay, God meets business day one. So, welcome to the Inside. Eliseth Kasingro is my name, and I love it that you have taken the initiative to make sure that you log into this course and get the tremendous change of your life. I know you won't remain the same immediately after this course. You won't be disturbed by stress any other time when it comes to business. And the wisdom that you're going to receive today will actually also be applicable when it comes to your relationship life, how you also interact with your kids, your children. Yeah, it will also be so much applicable. Now, the basis of this course is the scriptures, and reason being they are the foundational wisdom that happened even before ages. So, for anyone to get the best understanding of how to come out of anything, then the scriptures do the best part. And throughout this course, the way I'll be teaching you will not be like how you have been taught before by any other person, or you might find some things are hard for you to believe, reason being they are too good to be true. And but the more you hang on, the more you'll understand why they are the way they are. So get your pen, get a paper, get ready, get the notebook or notepad, wherever you're going to note this, and make sure that when an idea pops in of how you can help yourself out, then note it down, because it is meant to help you. And everything that is for you should be for you. Okay? Now let's get started. Why is it that things fall apart? Day one, okay? Why is it that things fall apart? Usually, in the mind also works as a processor. I don't know if you understand the processor, but you do. You know how computers function. A processor runs, I let's say if it is to make a decision, it makes decisions concerning to the information it carries in the hard drive. Just like how AI does. AI makes decision basing on the information it has in the it can access on the internet. So for any information that is not on the internet, it cannot be processed or given out by AI. Not so. This you understand very well. Now, also the mind is no way different. The mind will also only give you results basing on what it knows, what it has in its software. And if the operating system that you have, your mind, does not have this, then that requires you to get these solutions out of what your mind knows. And that's where we go to your intuitive mind that is inspired by your spirit. So this course is meant to get the information in your spirit to your mind, because the spirit knows all things. Remember, this spirit has been there for ages. To give you an example, I know you have been, let's say, walking somewhere, or as in you're in your car, and you reach into a moment and you're like, but as if I saw this person sometime back, and this is specifically what they were doing, and as if this is how they did it. No. And you're like, wait, as if when I reached at this part, this person moved like this, and this one smiled this way. Like, you see events that seem to have happened before, but you are seeing them again. Not so. Now, that affirms to you that your spirit has already, it has a record of that event happening, though your mind had not experienced it before. So this is why I come to tell you that nothing is new under the sun. All things are old. That's uh, in the scriptures, Ecclesiastes 1:9, that all things are old. So as you are in this business journey, once you don't understand this little part, it's little but very profound in building how far you can reach, how far you can go, especially when stress kicks in, when anxiety kicks in, and you need to function basing on what you have not experienced before, but you personally know that it's true. Okay? Now, that aside, we have seen that usually it happens because the code of the mind is not fine. The code that we have, that is maybe the beliefs that we have been having, are not the ones that can take us to the next level, especially when you're scaling your business, when you're in that level, that moment. And what do we, how do we get out of this situation where we find our mind is not in coherence with what is in our spirit, but the mind is giving us the feedback in the form of anxiety, depression, and stress? How do we overcome that? Now, I've already told you that we are supposed to function from the end. Why? The end makes the light clear. It makes it visible for you to know that however much I'm at this level, there is another end that is already available. Now, my duty is to know that actually this end is already available, just like a river flowing from point A to point B. When this river has reached maybe the midpoint of point A and point B, this water that has reached that level, it is not disturbed, and that it won't reach the point B where it is going. It knows it will reach there, only that it's just at this level, and maybe the frequency and speed it has been using at this level will have to change to some level and reach the end point. Okay, so when you function from the end, it helps you too much, so much. This was also shared by Steve Jobs. This was his fundamental, where he usually said that you cannot connect dots from the beginning, you connect dots from the end. This you knew, it's not new to you. But how did it help Steve Jobs? You see, Steve Jobs, I believe he was one of the most stressed people. Let's forget about people like Tesla, who did so much and eventually died broke, though what they had done was extremely so powerful. Yeah, he had done something so powerful. The invention of the AC was too powerful, though in his time they couldn't appreciate what he was doing, and they couldn't also understand it. So that's why he died broke in that generation. But if he was available in this generation, he had done something that is so relevant with our time. Now, forgetting about him, Steve Jobs passed through too much to innovate Apple, and on top of that, having to fight the biggest companies then, that included Microsoft and IBM, which IBM was too powerful, remember. But this man carried a vision of wanting to have Apple be the richest company. Yes, it now became the richest company out of his time, but just like he had seen it be, it eventually became. You know, when you know the end, stress is just a fight of the mind the mind trying to fight what is already going to happen because it does not carry the full awareness of how it is supposed to be and when. But the fact is that it will happen. Okay, let's look at Ray Kroc, the man behind McDonald's. This man came to get of the idea of franchising McDonald's when he was 65. Otherwise, the whole of his past journey, this man was broke. And we can see what McDonald's is doing as we talk. So we have no excuse in this time, in this age, where we are still young. I know you might be something like 34, 40, around there, but men of 65 still had to push and they have built billion-dollar empires. So for our case, we truly have no excuse. We have no excuse. No matter the case, we have no excuse. At least for us, we know that there is an end. We know that there is an end, and we know that there is nothing new under the sun. We know that we are living in sort of a flashback. This is like a replay. So even if a stress was to hit, you just remind yourself that this is a replay. So the way I play this game is knowing that I cannot fail, only that maybe the mind is trying to fight what it does not have the awareness of, but I will sail through it. Okay? So as we end today's session, yeah, today's session is a real quick one, but as we end it, I want to end it with one of the men who lived this life with a very powerful mindset on how to manage the stress. Actually, the scriptures say that nothing about him would be desired in Isaiah. That is Jesus Christ. And meaning the man, he took too much stress, but he finished the mandate that he had to finish because he had a specific kind of understanding. And I believe that if we also understand this, then we shall not just build wealth, we shall build generation wealth. You know, it's good that we build wealth that is relevant even 200 years when we are long gone. It's better we do it that way. Otherwise, we will be selfish not to give a strong foundation for the generations to come. Now, imagine people like Tesla kept with their ideas. They didn't do as big as they were supposed to do. Imagine men like Elon Musk didn't do their part. Let's say they hid themselves in the procrastination. Who, how behind would our generation be? Men like Steve Jobs, if he didn't do his work by maybe procrastinating, being so anxious, stressed, how behind would this generation or the coming generation be? And also imagine Jesus Christ didn't do his part. How much behind would the whole realm this generation be? Now, you too are going to make sure that I stir up your spirit not to allow stress to disturb you anymore. Anytime stress comes, you have your personal ideas on how to come out. Like your personal, not what I told you, but your personal, from spirit to your soul and then to the mind. Okay? So, this Jesus in John 18:37, we see him being asked by Pilate, or in my local language we call him Pilato. Yeah, way back in Africa. So for us we call him Pilato, Pilate, according to how you would pronounce him. So in John 18:37, this man, after asking him if he was a king, okay, you know, you're building kingly wealth, okay? So he was asking him if he was a king. But this guy, Jesus Christ, at that moment, he didn't look like a king. He looked like a normal man, but saying that he's a king. And yeah, he kind of looked weird. For your case, you might say that, ah, the man, he was a king. But that's because, at least for you, have an experience. But imagine you were there in his time and you saw him. Maybe it would be hard for you to also believe that this man was a king. You get? So, after him asking him, this man, Jesus Christ, replied with his answer, which is so powerful that we can get from. And he said that, thou sayest that I am a king. To this end I was born, and for this cause I came into the world. Like, the man knew himself as a move. Like, he knew he was a move. And he was like, to this end I was born, and for this cause I came into the world. He was not apologetic in any way. He knew he was a king, and he didn't care whether you knew it or you didn't. His spirit was so persuaded that it had taught his mind that he was a king. And for this end, that end, the end we were talking about before, you remember, he was born. And for this cause of being a king, he came into the world. He just didn't care. And this is what I come to tell you. Uh, this mind has to be so persuaded. You have to make sure that the mind is more than persuaded. Okay? Now, again, he gave us in Luke, when we go in Luke 5, 36 to 39, specifically we are going to use 37. And he told us about the kind of mindset that keeps to conquer, okay? The kind of mindset that achieves whatever it sets itself onto. And he said that in 37, and no one puts new wine into old wine skins, or else the new wine will burst the wine skins and be spilled, and the wine skins will be ruined, okay? But the new wine must be put into new wine skins, and that's how both can be preserved. And in 39, he finishes by saying, and no one having drunk old wine immediately desires new, for he says that the old is better. So this 39 actually explains why the mind, when you're having a large vision and goal, and let's say you want to go further, you can't find yourself getting stressed. 39 explains it, that no one having drunk old wine, as in, if the mind has already tasted the old, immediately desires new, can immediately be persuaded by the new that is coming from the spirit. And it says that he says that the old is better. The mind refuses. It wants to show you that the old ways are better through the many ideas, and it persuades you with. You get me? So that's how dangerous you have to be. You have to be so careful about how dangerous the mind can be in its ways of persuading you to believe that the old is better. Yet for your case, you're looking at the end goal and you're moving as a move. For this end you were born, and to this cause you came into the world. Okay? Now, here in 37, we see that the mindsets that we already have are not enough to take us to take us far. Like, these mindsets, the wine skins, cannot consume what is coming from the spirit unless we use the new wine skins, okay, the new mindset, then we can receive what is coming from the Spirit. Because what is coming from the Spirit is so strong. In 2 Corinthians 5:5, the Message version, the scriptures say that it is the Spirit of the Lord that inspires us by giving us a glimpse of what is ahead, what is to come. Okay? Now, this shows us that you passing through this lifetime, your goals, you shouldn't allow them to be drowned by the mind. You are being inspired on what is, on a little of what is coming, just a little of what is coming. If let's say your goal is to have, let's say, like 1,000 employees, maybe by 2030, and in that have generated, let's say, like a net worth of let's say like 10 billion US dollars, which, and to some level it's trying to, the mind is trying not to believe it, or as you're looking for strategies, you're worn out in the process, then that is to just remind you that the mindset itself, it is trying to go back to the old, trying to use the old records to give you what is to come. Yet, for your case, you want everything new, everything forward. You are moved, not ready to stop. So, that is it for today. And in the next session, when we meet, that is day 2, we are going to see how you can rewire this mind with ease. Because rewiring the mind is one thing which we have tried and it has been hard, but how do you rewire it with ease? Also basing on the wisdom that has been there before ages. Okay, now let's meet on the next day. Make sure you share this with your team. Make sure your team is on with the same mindset, it flows with you. Otherwise, you might be having a vision, but then, just like how Steve Jobs ended up wearing his team, yeah, his people used to get worn out because it's almost him alone who carried the full vision, and the other people were not on the same pace with him. So your whole team must be on the same pace with you. Make sure they pass through this course, or you teach them personally from what you've understood. Your communication should always be imparting them with this kind of mindset that makes them unstoppable, makes them work without ceasing. Okay, all right. So yeah, let's meet on the next page. Uh, then the following day. Stay blessed, stay well, take care. I love you so much.